for the love of fuck. This is probably my 30th attempt. I've tried doing this video since 10. It is currently 10:46. People keep interrupting. My audio keeps cutting out for no fucking reason whatsoever. So, this is my review of SmackDown from July 17, 2018. Pleasantly good show. I actually really enjoyed it. I expected to have 2 shows in my first week that I'd have to crap on because Raw was completely horrendous in every way except for 2 matches. But SmackDown was actually very good. Ah, spider! Piece of shit. Get out of my sight. I'm currently outside, so I can actually do this video because people don't know how to mind their own fucking business. So anyway. SmackDown, Jeff Hardy comes out. Cuts a promo, 3 or 4 minute promo. Calls Shinsuke Nakamura a gutless prick. Well, he didn't say that, but he basically did. Eventually, the camera cuts to the back. Renee Young interviews Shinsuke Nakamura. He calls Jeff Hardy a crybaby. That's about it. Pleasant surprise. Raw didn't start with a 15-minute promo. Oh, if Raw did, SmackDown didn't. So it's very shocking that a wrestling program or WWE programming doesn't start with a long, drawn-out promo just to burn some time because they have no other interesting segments throughout the entire night. So, interesting. Finally, something new. AJ Styles comes out. A match with Shen Almas, and I was perplexed, actually. I was kind of disappointed, even, that these two were having a match. Not so much that they're having a match, but the fact that it's on free TV only a couple weeks and it's Shen Almas's, I guess, debut. Well, it's been more than a few weeks, but you know what I mean? It's been relatively quickly that he's having a match against AJ Styles, and I was hoping that maybe they could build this up. They could have a program, not so much for the WWE title, because, I mean, it's still young, but maybe a little bit down the line, they have a high-profile SmackDown feud, maybe even for a mid-card title, or if AJ Styles is still world champion for that, too, but they decided to do it on free TV, and I was confused, I was disappointed, but that disappointment squandered pretty quickly. That fizzled out because this match was very good. It was kind of slow at first. The crowd was kind of quiet at first because they you know, like I said, Shen is still pretty new on the roster, the main roster, so a lot of the casual fans don't really know who he is, so the crowd's pretty quiet. But eventually, once the match started picking up towards the end, or towards the middle even, towards the end, people started getting invested, and I was starting to get invested. Like, I knew they would have a great match, as long as they would have a good amount of time. They did. They gave him 15 minutes or so. So, that's all you could ask for. I mean, if they would have given like 5 minutes on a screwy finish, I figured it would be a screwy finish. Maybe Rusev interferes or Shane gets himself disqualified or something like that. But no, a clean finish. AJ Styles wins after the calf crusher. Very good match. You see, we're back and forth, and you know, watching this, you would think that these two have had prior experiences wrestling each other, and to my knowledge, I don't think they have. I mean, maybe I don't know exactly where Shen Almas wrestled before becoming an NXT star. I mean, I'd assume Lucha Underground or Shikara or whatever, but I don't know if these two wrestle each other, but you think they would because it seemed like they just clicked very well. This match was very good. Highlight of the night, and I think match of the week, even beating out the opening match of Raw, the triple threat between McIntyre, Roman Reigns, and Finn Balor. So, I think this match was best match of the week. Best segment of anything tonight. What's next? Oh yeah, Becky Lynch. What do I have written down? Becky Lynch versus I Don't Give a Fuck. That's what I have written down because I was too busy not caring and flossing my teeth in the bathroom because I don't care about this. I can't. People are going to think I'm a piece of shit or whatever for saying this, but I am not interested in women's wrestling. It has nothing to do with them being women. It just so happens that every woman on the roster, besides maybe 1 or 2, is completely boring, and there's not too many that I enjoy watch wrestling. I enjoy watching. Fuck! I enjoy watch wrestling. I enjoy to watch wrestle. That is the correct term. to be honest with you, I can't get interested in women's wrestling. Every time I try watching it, I end up doing something else or half-assing it and saying that I did. I am not interested in it. No one's got good characters. Every storyline is stupid that they're in. Like Banks and Bailey, for example, because all they need to do is just have them beat the hell out of each other instead of this soap opera horse shit. I mean, it's really that simple. I have no interest in watching women's wrestling. Sorry. I have no interest. I mean, look what WWE did. They've killed Asuka. Fucking Asuka. It's the easiest person to book on the roster. Literally anyone. Same with Braun Strowman. It's simple. Have Asuka come out and kill everyone. Is it really that hard? I mean, you have her lose to Charlotte at WrestleMania, and I thought that was a stupid decision. Yeah, it was kind of early for her to win the title, but then I can understand. I mean, she wasn't killed just yet. I mean, it was a good match. Having her tap out is kind of stupid, though. It makes her look not as credible, but whatever. Then you have her lose to Carmella 100 times in a row. It's like, no one gives a fuck about her now. Same thing with Shinsuke. Who could possibly care about him when he lost to AJ Styles 5 times in a row? I mean, he's gained footing now. I thought him beating Jeff Hardy in like 6 seconds was very cool, actually, to have him get over as a heel. But Asuka is a babyface who gets made to look like a fucking idiot every single time she's in the ring. How am I supposed to care about the women's division if you ruin the only good thing that's on the roster? Look at Bayley. Poor Bayley. I fucking hate her. I don't like her wrestling. I think she's boring. But for the love of God, she got ruined. I knew the gimmick wasn't going to work on the main roster, right? Of course it wasn't. It's, it's a bigger crowd. It just doesn't, things that work in NXT don't work in the main roster. Look at Adam Rose, for example. Look at Bo Dallas, for example. But anyway, Bayley comes to the main roster and wins, beats Charlotte, I think on an episode of Raw, for the world title, or the women's title. Instead of having her have this kind of Daniel Bryan type come from behind win, or come from underneath win, I could say, going against the Machine and winning, and finally getting like a feel-good moment, they just put it on her. It's like, well, then the entire point of the character is fucking ruined. She's not an underdog if she wins the world title or the women's title nearly instantly. Now it's different for Asuka. She is not an underdog. She's supposed to kill everyone. The only problem is, she doesn't kill anyone. Oh, she beats James Ellsworth every single time. How interesting. Great. But every time it matters. Okay, Carmella loses every match until she's world champ. They book themselves in corners here, and then they put Asuka against her. It's like, now what? The person who always loses has to win now, and the person who always wins has to lose. Or you make your world champ look like a fucking idiot. So no one wins. I'm not interested in women's wrestling, never will be. Sorry. Or until things get better. And it sucked. Women's Revolution was ruined from day one. Maybe not so much day one, but week 2 or 3. It's been like 3 or 4 years now. Becky Lynch won, who cares? Cut a bad promo afterward, too. It was kind of cringy. Ty Dillinger winning against Samoa Joe. Not the longest match ever. Maybe 4 or 5 minutes. It was kind of like Mojo Rawley versus Tyler Breeze on Raw. The right guy went over. The loser looked pretty good in defeat. And it was quick. Got it over with. Samoa Joe looked like a killer. Tyler Dillinger looked like a babyface who was eager to get some offense in and did well. I think it was effective. I mean, Coquina Clutch made Ty Dillinger tap out. He actually lasted pretty long in it, too. Didn't just tap immediately like every heel does nowadays. Like Shan almost tapped out pretty quickly. But anyway, right guy went over. I mean, not much to say here. Samoa Joe wins. So, I'm fine with that. Eventually, I think he's going to beat AJ Styles for the world title. Maybe even at SummerSlam. I don't know what the plans are for AJ Styles right now. It just seems like he's just... I don't know if that Rusev feud is going to last. Because I just think Rusev's going to turn Aiden English or the other way around. And then those two are going to feud. So I really don't know what's going on with AJ Styles. So I'm assuming Samoa Joe. And if he wins the world title, good. those two can have a great match against each other. They've done it before. Team Hell No Eulogy. I didn't know how this segment was going to plan out. I thought it was going to be like a kind of like a comedy segment, and I was hoping they wouldn't ruin The Miz like that and make it a boring segment. Luckily for us, though, it was exactly what it should have been. The Miz completely verbally raping Daniel Bryan on the mic, and then Daniel Bryan coming out and beating up The Miz. I mean, it's exactly what it should have been, and I commend him for doing something like that, for finally making a fucking worthwhile segment that doesn't have to be ruined by either forced comedy spots or retarded booking. So I'm glad we got what we needed. Basically, Miz comes out, just trashes Daniel Bryan like about how his friends and family don't care about him, his career's over, Team Hell No's over, stuff like that. The pallbearers that helped bring out the decorations, like Kane's mask, some flowers and whatnot, were there, like, hired by Miz. Daniel Bryan comes out from behind, beats up Miz. Pallbearers come in, Daniel Bryan clears him out, Miz escapes. Obviously building for SummerSlam, like it should be. This has been a feud that's been going on ever since Daniel Bryan wasn't even an active competitor on the roster, when he was just general manager. These two have had some beef for a while, so I'm glad this has built up for a long time. But even then, these two feuded in 2010, so it's been 8 years, and they're going at it again, and this time it's way more interesting because these two are more established names. I expect Daniel Bryan to get the win, too, so, I mean... Kofi Kingston versus Eric Young. Another pretty good match. Like, these two seem like they've wrestled before, even though they haven't. So, I think it was a pretty good match. I mean, wasn't too long. Maybe about 10 minutes. Some shenanigans, some distractions. I can't remember if it was Killian Dane, or Alexander Wolf, but someone hit Kofi in the face and allowed Eric Young to pin him. Pretty good match. Got exactly what we wanted out of it. I mean, what else could you expect? Cheap heels get the win. I think it's kind of stupid that the heels that are supposed to be killing everyone need to cheat to win. But hey, whatever. I mean, that gets him over his heels more, and that keeps the feud going. I expect these guys to go against each other at SummerSlam, which I'll be fine with. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a good match. So, other than that, not much to say. The main event was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy. A pretty good match. I expected these two to have a good match, but I didn't know how well it'd plan out, considering Jeff Hardy's pretty banged up right now. I heard his lower right back is really hurting, which I can see why, considering he used to do swantons, kind of like landing lightly, like shoulders on them, and kind of like landing on his ass more. But now he just full like flat backs on him, and it's not so much flat back like middle of the back, it's lower back. So he kind of like has his legs up in the air when he lands, because he lands like ass first on them now. So his lower back, I mean, it just looks so painful. It didn't used to look that bad, but now he's just landing full force on them. So Shinsuke got Jeff Hardy goes for the cover, 1-2, and pulls Jeff Hardy out of the ring, which I kind of expected. I didn't expect that to be a clean finish. Pulls Hardy out of the ring and just beats the fuck out of him. Jeff Hardy had like a minor comeback, just hits a few right hands, which are honestly some of the, no offense to Jeff Hardy here, but he's got some of the worst work punches I've ever seen, and I've been saying that for years, ever since TNA. His punches he just kind of, I just don't know. It's just form. Bret Hart had some of the best work punches ever, and I think we can all agree upon that. Kane's uppercuts are great. Jeff Hardy's punches just look so slow, and like there's no effort into them. So, I don't know, whatever. So Orton's punches look really good too. He's another one. Look like they hurt. And you expect them to hurt from a guy like Orton. He's got tattoos, for God's sake. Anyway. Randy Orton beats the fuck out of Jeff Hardy. Just beats the shit out of him. throws him into steel steps multiple times. Puts him on, throws him over now. Best part, by the way, Jeff has like ear gauges, so his ears are kind of, his lobes have space in them for the gauges. And one of the, honestly, I thought it was disgusting when I was looking at it. I'm like, oh god. But Randy Orton's got his arm locked like in his legs, and in Orton's legs. He's over top of him, Hardy's on his stomach, and he's ripping at the lobe that has the gauge hole in it, and he's just tearing it. And it was, commentators sold it well. The fans were like, they showed fans in the crowd like they were like disgusted. I thought maybe he was just gonna rip his ear. It looked gross, and it looked awesome though. It was really, really cool. Really, see, that's stuff like that Orton should always be heel, first of all. Always. Because him as a babyface is some of the most bland shit ever. So, but, throws him over an announce desk. Some road agents come out, and I recognize two. There was a third guy, but I didn't really get a good look at him. So Jamie Noble, Fit Finley, came out, trying to get Orton. Some referees trying to get Orton off of him. He's just beating the fuck out of him, punching him over the table, gives him that draping DDT. I don't know if it's ever had a name, ever, but does it off the announce table on Jeff Hardy, and the show closes. The show was really good, way fucking better than that shitfest Raw that I sit through, that fucking horrible show. 3 hours of that fucking slog, terrible. Raw was terrible. SmackDown was very good, very effective in many ways, like the Team Hell No eulogy, the Shinsuke, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton type thing, that whole triangle, the match and the beatdown. I mean, there was a lot of effective things on the show. Shin Almas, Samoa Joe getting the win. So, show was very effective in many ways. A lot of good action too. 3 pretty good matches in the show. Well, 1 really good match and 2 pretty good matches. Good storytelling. Show was very effective. And I'm actually interested in Randy Orton for the first time in forever after seeing him rip Jeff Hardy's ear. So, quick review because I've tried this for over an hour now. So, thank you guys for watching. And I get a fucking break. Let's watch Raw next Monday. Boy, am I excited. Can't wait to see more Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley forced feud. Because they really need to pull apart Brawl, apparently. Because they hate each other so much.